in the 28th of March 2025. Àsìkò tá a wà yìí, àsìkò pé a máa sọ fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó tì wá lẹ́yìn tá a máa fi gba country wa. Amẹ́ríkà ò ní wá gbà yín lẹ̀ o. Britain ò ní gbà yín lẹ̀. They are also in crisis as I speak right now. Ogun ti wọ Europe gan báyìí. Gbogbo ẹ̀ la máa ṣàlàyé fún yín lọ́sàn-án yìí. Ogun ti wà nínú Europe. Wọ́n ní kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wọn lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fógun tó ń bọ̀. Àsìkò tá a máa tojú bọ ẹni tó bá tojú bọ̀ wá, a máa yọjú tiwọn náà. A tètè yọ ọkọ tó yọ tiwa. Àsìkò tá a wà níyẹn lélẹ́yìí. And all my words are my words. Wọ́n rán mi ṣe eléyìí. I am a journalist preparing you fún ogun tó ti wà nínú ilé already. Eléyìí ò ń ṣe pé olóyè Ìgbòho ní kí wọ́n sọ fún yín. Eléyìí ò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ISDM. This is Koiki Media journalist preparing you for the crisis tó ń bọ̀. A ti wà nínú crisis. This is not to mix word. I have become fully independent. Mo fẹ́ kí media kankan kó fi nǹkankan rẹ́ mi pé àwọn ọ̀fẹ́ ntẹ́mi sọ yẹn ó contradict tiwọn. I will remain independent for now until tá a máa fi débi tá à ń lọ. Because tó o bá tilẹ̀ align pé ntẹ́mi sọ yẹn ọ̀nà tá a fẹ́ fi gbà nìyẹn, then I don't want to associate with anybody. Mo fẹ́ dá dúró kọ́ kúkú mọ̀ pé mi nìkan ni mò ń sọ. Torí pé mo sọ fún yín 4 years gbogbo ń bọ̀ ẹni ogun òde. European ń prepare àwọn ọmọ wọn fógun. Ẹ̀yin ní kèmí má prepare yín fógun. Ó ti wà nínú ogun already. A ti wà nínú ogun. Gbogbo tó bá lè máa lọ múra sílẹ̀ pátápátá. Ọdún tá a wà yìí 2025 around the world is a very very important year. Mo ń wo North Korea lánàá. Mo ń wo crisis tó ń lọ ní different part of the globe. Nigeria máa witness crisis lọ́dún yìí. Kò ń ṣe fún àwa tá à ń pariwo Yorùbá nation. Many different people ló ní different things tó fẹ́ mú jáde kúrò ní Nigeria. Èyí tó kan àwa òun ni pé a fẹ́ country wa nínú ẹ̀. In tó kan Málà yàtọ̀ sí Fúlàní. In tó kan Ìgbò yàtọ̀ sí Ìjọ. Every stakeholders. Àwọn tó ń protest. Kékeré lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ rọra rí ní Ondo State lánàá. Everything and everybody ló ní different thing tó fẹ́ béèrè. Èyí táwa ń béèrè lọ yìí. Àsìkò pa fẹ́ bẹ̀rù gọ́vnà kọ́kọ́kọ́ lélẹ́yìí. Tó bá wọn gọ́vnà kó dá wa lóhùn. Tó bá dá wa lóhùn gbogbo ta máa ṣe ànísàn yẹn lórí social media. But tá bá jáde tí gọ́vnà bá rí yá tó bá kó sójà tó bá ti yìnbọn pa wá. Gọ́vnà náà ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ máa ṣe kíni. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ pé ikú dé fóun náà. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni mo mìíràn. Tí gọ́vnà kan bá instruct pé kán yìnbọn pa aráàlú tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń béèrè ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀, á jẹ́ pé gọ́vnà náà fẹ́ fi ara ẹ̀ náà filẹ̀. Ó fẹ́ òun náà àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí ẹ̀ náà fẹ́ sunkún òun náà nìyẹn. Torí wọn ò ní sunkún ẹnì kankan nínú wa. Àtẹ̀mí àtẹ̀yìn nígbàkigbà tá a bá máa jáde tó bá ti ní ká jáde. Wọn ò ní sunkún ẹnì kankan nínú wa. Àmọ́ tó bá lọ jẹ́ pé wọ́n jẹ́ ká lọ sunkún èèyàn kan, ẹkún náà gbọ́dọ̀ wọnú ilé tiwọn náà. Ní state tó bá jẹ́, including Lagos State. This is not the time tí Lagos máa ní wọ́n pààyàn kan, àwa lọ àdúró dé inquiry, a máa ṣèdájọ́ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ as how we wish. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn. This is not going to be a normal thing that you've heard before. But this is Koiki Media preparing you now for the crisis ahead. Torí a ti wà nínú ogun nínú Nigeria. Ẹ sọ fún gbogbo àwọn commissioner of police tó wà ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwa ìjà wa o, àmọ́ tẹ bá pa wá, ìwọ náà máa prepare pé nǹkan kan fẹ́ ṣe ẹ́ nìyẹn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ikú fẹ́ pa ìwọ náà nìyẹn. Àdúró de inquiry, àdúró de police court, àdúró de judgment Ọlọ́run. Judgment tàwa náà làwa náà máa ṣe fún yín torí a ti sọ fún àwọn tó ń jáde pé ẹ ní attack ọlọ́pàá, but tọ́lọ́pàá bá ti attack níjọ́kíjọ́ tá bá ti jáde, a ní right láti attack padà. Wọ́n gé wọ́n nìyẹn. So 2025 is a very tough year. And I'm going to start from there. Fẹ́ẹ́ fànẹ́yìn tí ẹ̀ ń doubt pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ akọ̀nsọ̀rọ̀ lórí social media. it will move into the street and the corners of every part of Yoruba land. Tó bá àwọn DSS kọ́ lọ múra dáadáa sílẹ̀, bó wọn ọlọ́pàá kẹ́ lọ múra dáadáa sílẹ̀, we care less. But what we are saying is, let us go peacefully. That's all. Now, let's come back to what is happening around the world. Orí ìkànnì Koiki Media láwà, níbi tí a ti ń gbé ètò tọ̀sán ìjáde ní aago 12 nínú studio mi ní London, 12 p.m. exactly to the dot, 28th of March 2025. Mo kí Olóyè Igboho, mo kí gbogbo YSDM, mo kí gbogbo àwọn different groups that are working around the clock pé kí àṣeyọrí kó lè jáde nínú tagbédání. Gbogbo ala ti gbọ́ news tó ń jáde ní Europe lánàá. Wọ́n ní ogun bọ̀ ní European countries. 450 million Europeans are now being asked to go and prepare for war, for the crisis that is just on their doorstep, the crisis that is coming, the crisis that nobody will be able to run away. I'll be telling you everything you need to know, because this is the only international media platform that will tell you without mixing the words. We are now living in danger for those of us in Europe. Èyí tẹ́ ń gbé ní Europe, èèyàn kan bí mi lánàá pé ṣé UK wà lára Europe, mo ní gbogbo tó ń jẹ ibo ló ti ń kó wá. When there's a problem in Europe, there's going to be a problem. I will not be mentioning names now. We're in a serious discussion. Tiba Makinyi, it will be towards the end of the program. Eba mi gbé ọwọ́ lé share button. That is all I can say for now. I haven't got the time to be telling Eka Sonbenye, Eka Ronbenye, Atiwa Lorieto, Bubuini Mori, Buki Ekabo Sori Koniwa. While I'm preparing you for what is happening in Europe, there is now an imminent of an attack where Koti Senitomo, Nijo Olumade, what is Sofunwa, but one Kaloma Mura Sile, just like I've been telling most of you, just like I've been mentioning that there is a danger coming. Many of you have not listened. But now, bóyá tí ẹ bá wo ti Europe, bóyá yẹn kọ́ yín lọ́gbọ́n, a lè mú yín pé lóòtítọ́ ni platform yìí sọ pé ogun ń bọ̀ ní Nigeria, tẹ́ sọ pé kò ní sógun. Bóyá tí ẹ bá wo ti èyí tó ń bọ̀ ní Europe, bóyá ẹ ní máa sọ nísìn pé ṣé ọ̀dọ̀ wa nìkan ló yẹ kó gun wá? Ogun ti yí gbogbo wa káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Crises were all over the world. It is how prepared you are that will make you survive. It's called the survivor kit. And Koiki Media is your survivor kit. Torí pé we have mentioned, we have told everybody that there is a massive crisis coming in Nigeria. And my job is to keep you up to date with this crisis that is coming. That's what I'm looking for. I found it. My name is Olami Koiki, popularly known as Koiki Media on the social media. Bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Now, I'm a Kokologbo Arabiri. She's going to speak in English, but I'm translate it as much as I can. But just to debrief you, because I've been studying, watching, listening to all different analyses around the world. For the European countries, I want you to take note of this. In Tolemu, the European countries, don't pay the EU, because most of you know them as EU, but the right word is European country. Thank you very much for the super chat. Lati US, safety domain. We got to appreciate that quickly. The European countries is now one prepare 450 million of their citizens fún ogun tó ń bọ̀. Ogun yẹn ìjọ olómade, I am not the one putting this out now. Èmi kọ́ ni mò ń dẹ́rù bà àwọn aráàlú wọn, torí pé tó bá jẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ tiwa ni ẹ máa ní à ń dẹ́rù bà yín. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ìtí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ẹ máa ní à ń dẹ́rù bà yín. but the European Union sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ ìlú pé ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ní oúnjẹ tẹ́ lè jẹ fún at least the first 3 days. Stockpile, ẹ lọ máa tọ́jú nǹkan pamọ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ bá rò pé ó máa useful fún inú family ẹ nínú ilé ẹ, go and put it together because ogun bọ̀. And this is for those of us that are living in Europe to take note. Èmi ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, mo ń prepare fún àwọn family tèmi as little as I can. Mo hope pé tí ẹ wà ní Europe náà, you are doing the same thing. Do not leave it too late and do not take this as a joke. Anything can happen. Information is very important. But àwa ìran Yorùbá, a máa ń fi nǹkan lẹ̀ too late until it gets closer and we start shouting and crying. You cannot call Jesus Christ or Muhammad or kó máa ní Ọlọ́run Elédùmarè nígbà tí wọ́n ti wọ́n nìyí. You can use this to prepare fẹ́yìn tẹ̀wọ̀n lé náà. Stockpile 72 hours of food amid fears of war. Wọ́n pé tán. Kó ìkímìdí bá sọ pé ogun ń bọ̀, àwọn kan máa náwọn fẹ́ gbọ́rúkọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Èmi ò mọ bí ṣe lè parọ́ fún yín ni o. Èmi ò mọ bí ṣe lè sọ fún yín pé kò ní sógun, ogun ń bọ̀ ní Nigeria. Whether you agree with me or not, there is going to be a big war. Ogun ń bọ̀ nínú Nigeria. How soon ló máa dé is what nobody knows. How slow we can slow it down will determine if we are going to be coming out and stop it quickly by asking for our own independent country. Kógun má ka gbogbo amọ́lé. But tó bá ń sọ pé kò ní sógun, then you are one of the fools. Ọ̀dẹ̀ nìyẹn. And I don't want to sweat too much in this broadcast because I want to get the message straight. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, ogun ń bọ̀ ní Nigeria. Ọdún yìí ni, ọdún tó ń bọ̀ ní 2 years from now ni, 3 years from now ni, I have no clue, but the indicator ti sọ fún wa pé ogun ti yí wa ká. A ti wà nínú ogun, ó wá kù ẹni tó bá gbọ́ràn tógun ò ní ká mọ́. Kò dẹ̀ síbi tógun ò ti lè wá débẹ̀. Ó bá gbé ní Lagos State, ogun máa ká ẹ mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Tógun bá dé, ó lè jẹ́ tó bá ti blow airport, ìwọ tó rò pé ó fẹ́ travel, you will not have the privilege to travel. Ogun ti wà nínú ilé, and let us stop fooling ourselves. A ti wà nínú ogun. Eléyìí ń sọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó dé, ó ti dé already. How prepared are you? Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ni mo ń bá sọ̀rọ̀. Èdè Yorùbá ni mo ń sọ lẹ́nu. Báwọn ìyà tó kù bá gbọ́n tí mo ń sọ, ó dá fún wọn ni, kọ́ lọ máa fi múra sílẹ̀ ni. Ogun ń bọ̀ nínú Nàìjíríà o. Ọ̀rọ̀ pé kò ní kàn mí, gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá also is part of Nigeria right now. Tó bá ní kò ní dé, tó bá dé, you will blame yourself and your family for not preparing enough. Stockpile, wọ́n sọ fún gbogbo 400, do you know what it means to be telling 450 million citizens kó lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fógun? Àwa nísìnyí, we are only 60 million. Mo ní kẹran lè ṣe yìí lọ́wọ́, kẹran YSDM lọ́wọ́ kí a lè múra tán sílẹ̀. Some of you are doing it while some are taking it for a joke. But ṣáà lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fáwọn family ẹ̀ torí ogun yẹn ti ń bọ̀. Kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó lè escape ẹ̀. Èmi ò ní lè escape ẹ̀, ìwọ ò ní lè escape ẹ̀. Whether you are in Nigeria or not, whether you are in Africa, whether you are in Europe, ibikíbi tó o bá máa gbé, ogun ti wà nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. And that means that everybody is in big danger. And that, I'm sure you know what it means. So we're going to be treating this topic and see, ǹjẹ́ wa múra sílẹ̀ fún ogun àbí a ṣì ń sọ pé kò ní sí ogun nígbà tá ti wà nínú ogun? Ǹjẹ́ wa wà lára àwọn tí ó ń múra sílẹ̀ pé ogun bá dé amúra tán? Àbí ó ṣì wà lára àwọn tó ń doubt ẹ̀ pé Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kógun wà when ogun ti wà already? because we are all living in denial. Fẹ́ni tó bá ní kò ní sógun, ogun ti wà nílé already. Let me take you to what the European Union Commission, what they've been talking about. But before we go there, look at all the headlines around the world as at yesterday. Ọ̀rọ̀ tá a ṣe ń sọ yìí tẹ́ ń gbọ́ lórí Koiki Media, ìwọ tó ń gbọ́ mi live, ìwọ tó máa gbọ́ audio yìí, ìwọ tó ń gbọ́ lórí gbogbo ibikíbi tẹ́ bá ti láǹfààní àti gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ ìkó tí pé 24 hours. Wọ́n ní ogun ń bọ̀ ní Europe. Wọ́n pè clearly ni wọ́n mix the word together. Wọ́n ní war. There is an imminent of war coming in the European countries. Wọ́n wá ní kí 450 million European citizens kọ́ lọ máa gbáradì. Ǹjẹ́ wọn náà ń gbáradì fún ogun tó ń bọ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá? Àbí ó sọ pé Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù ní jẹ́ kó gún dé. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù stop Fúlàní terrorists tó ń wọlé tó ń pa àwọn èèyàn. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù stop wọn nígbà tó wọlé sí Ọ̀wọ̀ Catholic Church. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù stop wọn ní Ìgàngàn. Muhammad ò stop wọn, ìṣẹ̀ṣe ò lè stop wọn nítorí pé àwọn tó yẹ kó lo ìṣẹ̀ṣe wọn ò lò níbi tí ó yẹ kó fi bá Fúlàní jà. Ọmọ Yorùbá ló fi ń bá jà, ọmọ Yorùbá ló fi ń attack, ọmọ Yorùbá ló fi ń sàsí. Ààrí Fúlàní láti fi pa pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn ìṣẹ̀ṣe tí àwọn onílẹ̀ fún wa. Because gbogbo ìṣẹ̀ṣe ta ní lọ́wọ́ ó wà more than enough láti fi eliminate gbogbo àwọn tá à ń sọ yìí. But nígbà tó jẹ́ pé jàǹbá la fi ń ṣe fúnra wa, ààrí ṣe fáwọn olóṣèlú tó kó bá wa, but ó easy láti ṣe jàǹbá fún ọmọ Yorùbá ẹgbẹ́ fún àwọn tó ń ṣe jàǹbá. I want you to go and prepare. Mo jẹ́ kí gbogbo yín mọ̀ pé we are now in a full-blown war in Europe. These are the headlines. The Guardian newspaper to UK. Stockpile 72 hours of supply in case of a disaster or attack. EU tells the citizens. Kò tí pé 24 hours and not 27th. The world release information initially 28. France 24, disaster planning. Brussels calls for the European Union also to prepare for 72-hour survivor kits. Belgium news agency, European Union present preparedness strategy, including 3-day survivor kits. Baba Kitoye team prepare wa for the last 5 years, but ani agba nítorí pé àìtí rí evidence pé a ti wà nínú ogun. Baba Kitoye ní the longer taba pẹ́ sínú Nigeria, the more many lives will be lost. Many people will die. I said this almost 2 years ago, that we will lose nothing less than 1 million Yoruba people if we do not stop it now. Already the numbers is pushing on a daily basis. Ẹni tó bá kàn ló mọ̀. Tó o bá ti kàn ẹ́ kò mí pé kò ní dé ọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀. Many households will cry. Most of my posts on my Facebook, I do not regret saying anything I post on it. I personally post on it. You will all die. Ikú máa pa gbogbo wọ́n tó bá ń sọ pé ó fẹ́ wọ́n Nigeria. You will die. There's no doubt about it. Bó ṣe máa kú ló kọ̀ lè yàtọ̀. It might not even be the war that is coming. And I'll give you one example. We can say that Kolon foríjì wọn, but these things cannot be stopped if we have left Nigeria yesterday. But because you are still living in denial, òun wẹ́n tó máa parọ́ fún ẹ pé Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí ikú wá pa ẹ́, as many of you continue to attack me on my platform. But ikú máa pa ẹ́. Ọ̀nà tí kú fẹ́ fi pa yẹn inú Nàìjíríà ló wà because kò kúrò. And the death trap is there. And it is when most of you realize it will be too late. Ikú yẹn ti pa already. And this is why we are doing everything possible best to warn you ahead. Kí o má wà as part of those that will die, because many of you will eventually die because you have refused to listen to the warnings that we have been telling you all along. And refuse to listen to the warning. But ẹni tó bá ti gba warning, your chances to survive is that you are already preparing what they call the survivor kit. And the survivor kit could mean anything from the smallest to the biggest. Money ikú mama muyin loleyo konkon, because we are still crying that we are one Nigeria. Mukini gbogbo bikibi tẹ́ tí ń wò wá títí dé ìlú Russia. Ẹ yẹ kí n kọ́kọ́ sáré fún yín ní arákùnrin ọ̀dọ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan ni mo ti rí post yẹn. He would have probably been alive, but as usual, Nigeria ti bọ́ òun ti bá Nigeria lọ nìyẹn. Regardless of whatever you feel or how you might feel, it is what it is. You would die if you still say we saved Nigeria. You will eventually die. Anytime way, arákùnrin tẹ́ ń wò yìí, I will give you the quick write-up tó wá pẹ̀lú this particular post. Wọ́n wá justice fún nísìn. Maybe tó bá jẹ́ pa ti dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè kan, kódà a lè rescue ẹlòmíì láwọn ìlú tiwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn neighbors wa. But nígbà tá a sì wà nù Nàìjíríà, ikú máa mú àwọn èèyàn lọ tí kò tí jẹ́ kó kú. Let me read it quickly because we want to move to the next place. This is Abiola Adams Odutaye. Definitely one ní láti sọ fún ọmọ Yorùbá ni. Just looking at the name. Ó lè wá jẹ́ ẹ̀yà míì ni màmí àbí bàbá, but based on this name, it indicates that he's a Yoruba boy or a Yoruba man. Farabalẹ̀ kó gbọ́ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí. How Abiola Adams Odutaye was knocked down. Knocked down yẹn mi pé mọ́tò pa, knocked down, mọ́tò kọlù nínú Nàìjíríà lélẹ̀ ti ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yín ìwọ tó ń sọ pé nǹkan kan ò ní ṣẹlẹ̀. No problem. Continue to attack me. Continue to say that arákùnrin orí òpè òmò tó ń sọ. Death will come to you when you are not even prepared for it, because iṣẹ́ tí Nàìjíríà ń ṣe nìyẹn. Iṣẹ́ máa mẹ́mí àwọn èèyàn lọ, àwọn ẹ̀mí tí Elédùmarè dá, ẹ̀mí tọ́lọ́run dá, Nàìjíríà máa mú lọ. Bóun ẹ̀ kò sọ pé in Jesus name, that is not my portion, no problem. Bóun ẹ̀ kò sọ pé inshallah láṣẹ Èdùmàrè, no problem. Àwọn tó ń pa náà wọ́n sọ the same thing. Wọ́n ń pe Jésù, wọ́n ń pa ànábì, wọ́n ń pè ṣẹ̀ṣe fáwọn tó ń pe ní tó bá wù wọ́n tó pè. He was knocked down. He's also the co-founder of Bumper. That means pé ẹni tó kàwé tó ní làákàyè ni, àmọ́ bá ṣe ń bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ikú ti mú lọ báyìí. Maybe he would have survived, but kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Kí ló pa? He was knocked down by somebody called TJ. Sorry, was knocked down. TJ, Longpe, maybe the nickname. The co-founder of Bumpa, Bumpa, and still refused to take him to the hospital. She doesn't want blood to stay in her car. One ẹni tó fi mọ́tò gbá. Kò tẹ̀ fẹ́ gbé bọ́dì ẹ̀ sínú mọ́tò tiẹ̀ torí kò fẹ́ jẹ́ kó stain. Number one, he would not have needed that, because if Lagos State, Lagos òfòyín, Lagos burúkú yín, Lagos ìbànújẹ́, tó bá jẹ́ pé ó ní gbogbo well-equipped things ready 24 hours, tó ń ṣe pé nígbà kan tó bá kọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́ fi ń bò yín lójú, maybe this young man would have been alive as I speak to you today, because it would have taken just less than 10 minutes, maximum 15, for emergency to have arrived. Tó bá tẹ̀ wá kú wá ní wọ́n débẹ̀, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan? wọ́n náà wá justice fún TJ, a life cut short by an inhumane driver. Many of them are waiting to kill you like that. Bí Dangote truck ò bá pẹ́ náà wọn máa pa ìkan máa pààyàn ṣá nítorí iṣẹ́ tí Nàìjíríà máa ń ṣe nìyẹn, pààyàn ìlú pààyàn ni ìlú tó ń pààyàn tó ń mú ẹ̀jẹ̀ lójoojúmọ́. Election dẹ̀ ti ń bọ̀, so wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ rúbọ oríṣiríṣi èèyàn dẹ̀ làwọn máa fi ń rúbọ. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó jẹ́ babaláwo ní sọ fún ẹ pé ká fèèyàn rúbọ. Tó bá ti ń fèèyàn rúbọ, àwọn ti kúrò ní ìṣẹ̀ṣe, wọ́n ti kúrò ní ìlànà Elédùmarè. Àǹjọ̀nú mi lọ fi hàn pray, àǹjọ̀nú mi lọ ń lò. Just because of my time, because I've got a lot of things to cover this afternoon. You're listening to Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Arákùnrin tẹ́ ń wo ìbí ṣe ń kà lọ. On Tuesday, March 4th, nínú oṣù yìí, just 24 days ago, as at 23 days ago, tó bá sọ pé kú ń bọ̀ wá pa, tó bá rí post mi anomali, a ní bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn, a ní ó ti sick ní London. A ní èmi tí mo ń gbádùn, tí mo ń gbé ní VI, mo gbé lẹ́kìtì náà. A ní ẹ̀bá rí Koiki Honoré òpè. I'm sure most of you that continue to come and comment rubbish on my post, ikú máa pa yín níjọ́ kan mo sọ fún yín, because gbọ́ràn, you're not taking the preparedness kit to save your life in this contraction. And how do we save our life is got pull out completely out of the zoo or jungle, as we say. We will not call it zoo on our own platform. Let's go further. Níjọ́ Tuesday, March 4th ọdún yìí, Adétúnjí Ọ̀páyẹlé. Okay, ẹni tó knock èèyàn down, òun ni wọ́n pè ní Biola Adams Odútáyé, ẹ má bínú, because mo dárúkọ Biola yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Biola yẹn ni wọ́n ó fi mọ́tò tiẹ̀ pa arákùnrin tó ń pè ní Adétúnjí Ọ̀páyẹlé, tá fi ń pè ní TJ. Account details mi lọ́n fi síta yẹn, ó wà important kẹ́ support wa. First bank number is 3096808848. Tá a bá rí owó, a lè operate as a media. Media need owó láti fi ṣe gbogbo tó bá fi ṣe. musakalam1@yahoo.com fún PayPal. Fún UK account, ẹ lè pè mí or 04060516906228. Sort code nìyẹn 040605. Account number 16906228. Tied account. Very important that this platform has all the revenue to operate with. Without money, we can operate with very little. Taba ní owó lọ́wọ́, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan wà tá lè ṣe as we are getting ready for our big day. Ọlọ́run àbóyin láṣìírí, tẹ́yìn náà máa fi bò wá láṣìírí. Tàbá dẹ̀ ní kẹ́ dáwó sí bíbá, it is voluntary. Specifically, la fi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, kò ṣe dandan ni kò dá, tó bá ní, o lè bá wa dá síbẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sọ́dọ̀ kí ló pa TJ, arákùnrin tá à ń pè ní Adétúnjí. Wọ́n náà ní the co-founder, kódà the chief technical officer of Bumper. Wọ́n ló jí gẹ́gẹ́, mo translate ní Yorùbá and English so that kó lè tètè yá àwọn èèyàn wa torí kò ṣe gbóyàn ló gbọ́ English ò dẹ̀ ń ṣèdè ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Wọ́n ló jí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Nigerian youth, eager to contribute meaningfully to his nation. Èmi ò mọ̀ bí tó ti rí nation because Nigeria kì í ṣe nation. He had no idea that this would be his last day on the earth, all because of someone's inhumane action. Okay. Ṣọmọ tó ń pè ní inhumane, òun làwọn olóṣèlú ṣe fún yín. They are doing what they call inhumane action to make sure that ní hospital, ní emergency, tí accident bá ṣẹlẹ̀, there's many people that have died of accident in the UK. There's nothing wrong in that. Kódà à ń prepare àwọn ọmọ èèyàn European country fún ikú tó fi wá pa wọ́n àfihẹ́kọ́ kú. But many of you will die because of the negligence of your politicians and ìlú tó ń support. Tó ń sọ pé nílùú mi. No, ilẹ̀ wa nílẹ̀ wa. Nigeria was added as a name in 1914, nothing more than that. Kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria ní 13th century, 14th century, only 19th century tí Britain olórí burúkú olè jàgùdà bàráwò lọ add mọ́. Because of the time, let me move forward because àfipẹ́ lórí bíbá. Wọ́n ní wọ́n bí sí ìlú Èkó ní 1992, December 20. Torí pé ọmọ tó yẹ kó sì wà láyé ni. TJ ló ń pè, ó ṣe secondary school ní State Model College Mẹ́ran nílùú Èkó ń bẹ̀. Ó lọ sí Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ University OAU, that means pé bí ọmọ kan tí wọ́n jẹun kánú nídìílé wọn torí kò ṣe gbogbo yẹn ló lọ sí yunifásitì. Wọ́n náà fẹ́ study law, mò ń kà ní Yorùbá fún ẹni English lọ fi kọ́, bò kó lè tètè yé wa kí n lè move forward quickly. He ended up becoming an information technology into like nìyẹn. Kódà he eventually transitioned fully into software engineering. Àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ nílùú òyìnbó owó gidi ló ń gbà. Before co-founding Bumper, TJ built an impressive career in software development, holding position in both Nigeria and United States. He worked with Nigerian financial service provider e-Settlement and also founded Host Kaba, a web host company. Bumper, the startup he co-founded, but you don't know what? The company was able to secure $4 million in a seed funding led by base 10 partners. Àmọ́ òun ò sí láyé mọ́ báyìí. Kódà wọ́n náà employ èèyàn 40, èmi ò tẹ̀tí lágbára ẹ̀ 25 làwa employ. Kọ́lọ́n túbọ̀ ràn iléeṣẹ́ wa lọ́wọ́ ká lè increase. But a night of tragedy, kí ló wá ṣẹlẹ̀? Many night of tragedy máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ní gbogbo Nigeria. There's no doubt about it because ìlú tí President Bola Tinubu ò lè mọ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní local government but ní UK ní bíbá Prime Minister ní láti mọ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní London Borough kankan, but àwọn tí wọ́n yàn síbẹ̀ wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe ẹ̀tọ́ láti tọ́jú gbogbo àwọn tó ń gbé ní borough yẹn. Ìjẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe rí ní Nigeria ní local government kankan. Máa tọ́ rẹ pé Nigeria is a great country. Wọ́n ní ó jáde lọ, ó lọ sí gym, ẹni tó bá jẹun kánú ló ń lọ sí gym, but nígbà tó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, young man, ó gbọ́dọ̀ fit, ó lọ sí gym, just like many children around in the UK, around diaspora, do the same thing. Wọ́n ń padà lọ sílé ní Victoria Land lórí power bike, ẹni tó bá jẹun kánú ló ń ra power bike, kò ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló lè afford ẹ̀. Ní aago 10:00 10:20 p.m. nígbà tó ń drive power bike ní Ozumbaba Way ní Victoria Island lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, he had a right of way. Ẹ má máa sọ pé èèyàn kan ní right of way nínú Nigeria. Nigeria is a jungle, gbogbo èèyàn ló ní right of way. Ìlú òyìnbó ló ti máa ní right of way, not in Nigeria. Tó bá sọ pé o ní right of way, ikú pa ẹ́. Èmi ò ní wà Nigeria nísìnyí kan ní kí n cross zebra crossing. Irọ́. Torí pé mọ́tò tó ń bọ̀ kò mọ́ mí ní zebra crossing, á kọ́ pààyàn dànù ló ń lọ tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. Àìmọye mọ́tò àìmọye Dangote truck tó ti pààyàn dànù. Ṣé ẹ̀yin ò mọ̀ pé ilẹ̀ ni right of way, but driver tó ń bọ̀ kò mọ right of way torí Gàmbàrí ni Fúlàní ni, and most of them their mission is to kill many of you. Wọ́n dárúkọ plate number mọ́tò tó pa. Wọ́n ní arábìnrin náà jẹ́ Miss Biola Adams Odutayo. Ó ń drive mọ́tò kan tó ní LND 418JR. Ó merge onto the expressway without considering approaching traffic, thereby crashing into him. Mo sọ fún yín pé kò sí right of way kankan. Ẹni tó bá ń sọ fún yín pé o ní right of way nínú Nigeria, please, òun fi ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ wéwu nìyẹn. Kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ right of way. So be very careful. Okay? Fún ọtí oṣù wà láyé, gbọ́ràn kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ right of way. Ká má fọ̀rọ̀ ògùn ṣá, arákùnrin ó ti wà pé òun wá sáyé. That's all I can tell you. So we're gonna move away from him now. Let's come back to the real discussion. Mo kàn mú yẹn wá. Eléyìí ṣẹlẹ̀ ní o 24 days ago ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Now, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan ní Europe? Kí ni ṣé wọ́n ń dẹ́rù bà wá ni? Torí lọ́dọ̀ tiẹ̀ òmùgọ̀. Bí ṣe ń bẹ sọ̀rọ̀ léni 500 people ẹ̀mí wọn ti lọ wọ̀ mọ́ ibi tó wà. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ibi tó ń pè ní earthquake? Kò sí earthquake lóòótọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà, Ọlọ́run fún wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tí kò ní sí earthquake, àmọ́ púpọ̀ nu yín inú earthquake lẹ́ ń gbé torí òró ń jẹjẹ. Many of you will die and many of you are falling into the trap of this problem. Myanmar earthquake lists dozen trap as tower collapse in Bangkok, 7.7 tremor hundreds of miles away. Buildings have collapsed. People have been evacuated in the Thai capital Bangkok after earthquake in the neighboring. Ọ̀tọ̀ nílùú tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀, ọ̀tọ̀ nílùú tó mì gbẹ̀gbẹ̀. Mo ní ogun máa dé sínú Nàìjíríà, Ghana gan máa fara gbá, Benin máa fara gbá, gbogbo African country máa fara gbá. Nítorí pé by the time tó gun yẹn bá wọlé dé, àwọn èèyàn máa sá kótókótó lọ sí different places. Sọ pé má dárúkọ Jésù nínú nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí, ìwọ ló máa prepare sílẹ̀ ni. To avoid all this test of time, ìyẹn ní gbogbo wa ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ tètè jáde síta tó bá ti ní ká jáde. Àwa la lè stop ogun tilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwa ọmọ Yorùbá la lè dá ẹ̀kún pé ogun tó ń bọ̀ yẹn. Let's take you straight to some of the images that is coming out from that Bangkok. Ká tó wá lọ sí, look at how buildings are collapsing. Máa sọ pé nǹkan kan ní ṣẹlẹ̀, ṣé o ríran? Nígbà táwọn ilé náà jí láàárọ̀ wọn mọ̀ kó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí, ṣé o ríran? Ṣé o rí building tó collapse? Ṣé o rí building tó collapse tó ń fi gbẹ̀gbẹ̀gbẹ̀? Nàìjíríà máa mì. Ó máa mì ní 2025. Ṣé o rí gbogbo traffic light tó ń mì? Bí Nàìjíríà náà ṣe máa mì nìyẹn, kò sẹ́ni kankan tó lè stop ẹ̀. Can you see it? Ṣé o rí pé ọ́fíìsì làwọn ilé wà? Ṣé o rí gbogbo building tó wà lẹ́yìn wọn? Ṣé o rí nǹkan bó ṣe ń mì nínú ọ́fíìsì? Ṣé o rí building bó ṣe ń collapse? Bí Nàìjíríà ṣe máa collapse lọ sí yẹn. Ṣé o ríran? Ọdún tí Nàìjíríà pé collapse òun la ti gbẹ́nu sí. Ó dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ collapse ni lágbára àwọn tó láyé tó lọ́run, torí pé Ọlọ́run ò dá foundation Nàìjíríà sí ọmọ Yorùbá, wọ́n fọ́ọ̀sẹ̀ lé lórí ni. I hope you've seen it. O lè lọ wo mọ̀ sí. Now let's come back. Kí n tó kọ́kọ́ play video tí mo fẹ́ play yẹn, mo fẹ́ kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá wo video yìí, especially ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní Europe. Arábìnrin tẹ́ ń wò ló ń pè ní Ajab Labib. Ta ni Ajab Labib? Òun jẹ́ ẹnìkan tí ó ń prepare àwọn èèyàn sílẹ̀ fún wàhálà àti ìdààmú. She's 54 years old. Lóòótọ́ jù mí lọ, but àwọn tó ní làákàyè tó jẹ́ ọmọ European citizen wọ́n ń gbọ́ nǹkan tó ń sọ, but mo ò fẹ́ bú ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́nìí, mo fẹ́ fi èébú sílẹ̀. Àmọ́ ẹni tó ní làákàyè ó ń wò pé òun dúró kí àwọn pásítọ̀ yín wá sọ fún yín pé ogun ń bọ̀. Nígbà tẹ́mi Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, the international media tí mo lè fi gbogbo ẹnu proud láti fi sọ, mo ń sọ fún yín pé ogun ń bọ̀, ogun ti dé, ká lọ múra sílẹ̀, ká lọ defend ara wa tógun yẹn bá máa dípọ́n súnmọ́ kálẹ̀ ẹni tó bá fẹ́ pa wá ká pa. Ẹni ẹ̀ láìkì irú ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ, but arábìnrin yìí nísìn ó ń wọ́n ní gbogbo àwọn 450 million people wọ́n dẹ̀ ti gbọ́ sí lẹ́nu. Ṣé àwọn ò fẹ́ kú? Àwọn ò dúró de Jésù, wọ́n ò dúró de ànábì. Kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n ò ní Catholic Church, wọ́n ò ní Pentecost, wọ́n ò ní Anglican. Ó wà káàkiri, àwọn ọlọ́gbé wá bá wa, àmọ́ àwọn wà stupid. Bí ẹ̀yàn máa lè, ẹ má bínú pé mo tún bú yín bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn wà stupid. Àwọn mọ̀ pé in tí wọ́n bá sọ, ṣe rí pé arábìnrin yìí, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo background ẹ̀. Irú iṣẹ́ tèmi ń ṣe yìí lòun náà ń ṣe, ó kọ̀ wà lucky pé wọ́n fi jẹ ọ̀gá European Commission. She's a Belgium journalist, gẹ́gẹ́ bí Koiki Media náà ṣe jẹ́ journalist. She's a television presenter, èmi náà ti ṣe television presenter rí. She's a director lèmi náà fún iléeṣẹ́ kan tó ń pè ní Koiki Media. Èmi ò kàn ṣe politician ni, torí politician lòun náà nísìn. Who has been serving the European Commissioner for preparedness. Preparedness. Èmi máa ń like ká ṣe full discussion of nǹkan tabakaba. Preparedness. Kí ni meaning ẹ̀?
Preparedness.
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 Ìwọ ló ṣì ń doubt pé Koiki kọ́ ló máa sọ fún ẹ pé kó lọ prepare, ikú máa pa ẹ́ nínú Nàìjíríà, má lọ prepare. Òun dúró káwọn gọ́vnà tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ti ní exit plan bó ṣe fẹ́ sá jáde. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní lọ anywhere torí a máa block wọn mọ́nu lé ni, kò sẹ́ni kankan tó ń lọ anywhere, àjọ máa enjoy ẹ̀ ni nígbà tá a bá ti bọ́ sórí M1. Má lọ prepare, má lọ kọ́ bó ṣe máa yìnbọn, má lọ wá survival kit, kó lọ prepare ayé ẹ, kó máa sọ pé òun dúró de Jésù. Torí Jésù ò stupid, Jésù ti fún gbogbo alọ́gbọ́n àtòye. You will die. Ikú máa pa ẹ́. Preparedness, kí ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀?
Preparedness.
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 A state of readiness. Kò ń ṣe pé ó máa wá lénìí, kò ń ṣe pé ó máa wá lọ́la, but wàá lọ máa múra yẹn sílẹ̀ pé tó bá lọ dé gbága, kò ní bẹ́ẹ̀ lójijì mọ́. In tí mo ti ń pariwo for the last 4 years nìyẹn. Waris Jinadu ni Tower of Babel was confusion and chaos await. Aziz ni Koiki Media, the real talk brother. Mo sọ fún yín pé journalist lèmi. Bàbá Kítóyè kọ́ ló máa fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ gbogbo ilé ìfẹ́ yín. Ṣé rí pé arábìnrin yẹn wọ́n ní she was a journalist. Mo kí Aziz fún super chat. journalist ni, television presenter ni, ó wá prepare àwọn 450 million European citizens. Òun ló announce ẹ̀, a máa gbọ́ wọn ẹ̀, ohun tèmi kọ́ lẹ́ máa gbọ́, ẹ̀ gbọ́ bó ṣe sọ. Torí pé ẹ̀yin máa ń fẹ́ irọ́, wọ́n ti fi irọ́ ba ayé yín jẹ́ nínú Nàìjíríà. Ẹ̀ ń dúró káwọn tó wà ní Senate, àwọn táyé wọn ti bàjẹ́, tó ti fayé tiwọn, tó ti fi kó bá yín, bó ṣe fi kó bá brọ́dà wa ta ṣó lẹ́ǹkan yẹn, kọ́lọ̀ fọ́run kẹ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí kí ló ń pè ní
preparedness,
a máa ní the state of being ready for something. Ǹjẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ready for something? Torí gbogbo wa ń ṣe bí ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé afọ́jú ni wá àmọ́ tó ń bọ̀. Gbogbo wa ń parọ́ bí ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé ààrí pọ́ ń bọ̀. Gbogbo wa dẹ̀ là ń rí, à ń smell ẹ̀, à ń feel ẹ̀. But nítorí pé o ṣì ń dúró káwọn wòlíì Ọlọ́run kan sọ fún ẹ pé ó ṣì máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Nígbà táwọn wòlíì kan sọ fún wa pé ó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí ká lọ máa múra sílẹ̀. Do not be caught up in the fight that you are not prepared for. Ẹni tó bá múra sílẹ̀ tí ó bá tẹ̀ dé, wà á lè defend ara ẹ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ dé, wà á máa báyé lọ, wà á máa continue ayé á máa lọ. The state of being ready for something. Ǹjẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá lénìí, ǹjẹ́ ó ṣì ready àbó ṣì ń jà nínú gúrùpù? When we should be preparing our lives because our life is now in danger. Ìyẹn la ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ lọ support YSDM nítorí pé àwọn máa prepare wa láti lè fún wa ní structure and guideline nígbà tí àsìkò bá tó. Máa lọ dáwó síbẹ̀, click on the donate button www.ysdm.org for the super mega rally. Has to be free will and unconditional with no strings attached to it throughout every Yoruba land. Gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pátá láti máa pariwo, láti máa kígbe, láti máa demand fún right wa, and we are warning the police. Tẹ́ bá yìnbọn, a máa yìnbọn padà fẹ́yìn náà ni. Ibi tá a bá ti rí ìbọn yẹn fìyẹn sílẹ̀. Níbọn lóòótọ́, but ibi tá a ti máa rí Ọlọ́run á provide. Tí sójà bá yìnbọn pa wá, a gbọ́dọ̀ pa sójà yẹn náà ni. Kò sí àní-àní kankan níbẹ̀. Ojú ṣẹ̀jẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ báyìí ní sí torí pé preparedness náà ni. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ pé ìwọ má mú kankan jáde bọ̀ dira, kó má dẹ̀ sọ pé òmùgọ̀ nìyẹn, gbogbo ọ̀nù kọ́ la máa fi sọ̀rọ̀. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìwọ, a ti wà lójú ogun already. The preparedness is the state of being ready for something to happen, especially for war or a disaster. Ọmọ Yorùbá ní kò ní sógun lórúkọ Jésù. Ogun wà lẹ́yìn ilé wọn, sọ pé kò ní sógun. Ṣé ọ̀dẹ̀ ni wọ́n ni? Ṣé òmùgọ̀ ni wọ́n ni? Ṣebí bó ti dàgbà, tó kọ ẹ bá le, o mọ̀gbà tó ń le. Tó bá jẹ́ obìnrin tára ẹ tó bá move, wàá mọ̀gbà tó move. Because those are the two things that fi lè ṣàlàyé fún ẹ. Ó mọ̀ dájú náà pé tó bá jí láàárọ̀ as ọkùnrin, okó yẹn máa le. Tó bá dé, ẹ má bínú ẹni tẹ́ ń gbàwẹ̀ o. Because tó bá fẹ́ lọ tọ̀, tó o bá ti lè máa jẹ́ pé problem ti wà nìyẹn. Idiot all over the place. Bomb bastard. Ọmọàlè. Mad people all over the place. Mo sọ fún ẹ pé ogun ń bọ̀, ó ní ogun ò ní dé. Àwọn EU wá ń sọ fún àwọn ọmọ tiwọn pé ẹ lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ o. Ogun ti dé tán o. Kógun má pa yín dànù. Àwa máa ṣe gbogbo tó yẹ ká ṣe lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí government. But ìwọ náà tẹ̀ sọ pé o lè prepare for 3 days. 3 days tó dẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn is going to be more than that. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo kí yín ní gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa, tẹ́ ti ń wò wá. Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì. Mo ní ǹjẹ́ wọ́n prepare àbí òmùgọ̀ nìyẹn? Ò ń dúró kí chọ́ọ̀chì kan sọ fún ẹ pé ìgbàlà Jésù nìkan. Ìgbàlà Jésù nìkan kọ́ la wà ń bẹ̀ nísìnyí o. Ìgbàlà náà bì kan. Ìgbàlà pé ká lè survive, kíkú má pa wá, òun la wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀ nísìnyí. Because ikú ti ń bọ̀, ká ti rí báyìí tó ti dé tán. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ ti sọ fún wa pé ikú ti dé, wọ́n ò ní sọ ju bó ṣe sọ lọ yẹn mọ́. Wọ́n ti fún wa ní gbogbo clue, wọ́n ti sọ gbogbo tó yẹ ká mọ̀. Wọ́n ní ikú yìí ti dé, ikú yìí ti dé. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá dìde, wọ́n pa yín, wọ́n máa pa yín. Wọ́n ti wà káàkiri. Olóyè ń gbìyànjú, ẹ jẹ́ ká support ẹ. Bàbá Akíntóyè ń gbìyànjú, ẹ jẹ́ ká support ẹ. Ọmọ àlè Yorùbá ní òun ń dúró kí wòlíì kan sọ fóun pé ó máa dé. Kò fi gbà pé Kóìkì ló máa sọ fóun. But I will not give up on you. Torí èmi ò fẹ́ kọ́ pa ẹ́. Ìyẹn lèmi ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ prepare. Torí arákùnrin ó wọ́n ni wa ẹja gbọ́n tó sọ.
Every one of us must rise up forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude.
Ẹyẹ pè mí mo wà lórí program báyìí, ẹ̀ ń disturb, ẹyẹ pè mo wà lórí live show báyìí.
They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
How prepared is Yoruba land? Ǹjẹ́ Yoruba land ti wà fully prepared? Àwọn gómìnà náà wọ́n ṣèpàdé láìpẹ́ yìí against àwọn tó ń bọ̀ wá pa wá tí wọ́n náà wọ́n rí ẹ̀rí. Ǹjẹ́ àwọn gómìnà yẹn ti gbégbésẹ̀? Ọba ṣèpàdé ní last year after 1 year àgbà pó àgbọ̀ pa gbogbo ẹ̀ dákẹ́ lọ. But the European countries are not taking anything for granted. The European countries do not want to risk the lives of millions of their people. The European countries do not want to gamble. Wọ́n wá ní káwọn ọmọ wọn lọ máa prepare. Báwo lọ ṣe wá fẹ́ prepare? Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ jọ wo fídíò yìí. Wọ́n ní kó lọ prepare the kit to survive. Listen to this video and we come back. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, my name is Olayomi Koiki. Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep. In the 28th of March 2025 at exactly 20 minutes to 1300 hours. Only my year 24 hours clock in ago kan ló fi lọ lù yẹn into me nìyẹn. Let's listen to this. I'm coming back again.
It's Actionable. Welcome to What's in My Bag Survival Edition. First up, my glasses. Super important if you want to see what is happening or not. Next, my document in waterproof pouch. A must in a rainy Brussels. Now, let's talk about lighting. I have a flashlight. If you don't forget the matches and of course, the light. Turn. And water, of course, because water is life. And my special friend, a Swiss Army knife. 18 tools in only one knife. A must-have. And don't forget your medication. You might need it, because you never know. And don't forget something to eat. You might be hungry, very hungry. And of course, some cash. In the middle of a crisis, cash is king. And your credit card might just be a piece of plastic, a charger, and a power bank. Because a dead phone is a dead man. Playing cards, bit of distraction, never hurt anyone. And don't forget the radio. The smaller one. This is everything you need to survive the first 72 hours of a crisis. Speaking about being prepared, the EU is preparing its strategy to be sure that every citizen is safe in case of crisis. Be prepared, be safe. It's Actionable. Welcome to What's in My Bag Survival Edition. First up, my glasses. Super important if you want to see what is happening or not. Next, my document in waterproof pouch. A must in a rainy Brussels. Now, let's talk about lighting. I have a flashlight. If you don't forget the matches and of course, the light. Turn. And water, of course, because water is life. And my special friend, a Swiss Army knife. 18 tools in only one knife. A must-have. And don't forget your medication. You might need it, because you never know. And don't forget something to eat. You might be hungry, very hungry. And of course, some cash. In the middle of a crisis, cash is king. And your credit card might just be a piece of plastic, a charger, and a power bank. Because a dead phone is a dead man. Playing cards, bit of distraction, never hurt anyone. And don't forget the radio. The smaller one. This is everything you need to survive the first 72 hours of a crisis. Speaking about being prepared, the EU is preparing its strategy to be sure that every citizen is safe in case of crisis. Be prepared, be safe.
Èwo ni kò yé ń bẹ̀? In tó bá yé ń bẹ̀ ni kò fi sínú comment section kí n ṣàlàyé fún yín. Èwo ni kò yé anybody níbẹ̀? Èwo ni kò yé wa nínú nǹkan tí a gbọ́ nísìn? Kí ni kò yé wa ń bẹ̀? Sherry, we cannot sugarcoat anything here. Platform, you only platform. You know, I love my mom so much that a lot of the time she also watched my program, and sometimes she just call me behind and say, look, just take it easy. But one thing is, this is not a platform that sugarcoats. The one platform that sugarcoats, you can make your way down to those platforms, but definitely not this platform. Because this platform will not sugarcoat anything for you. This platform said as clear as it is. But later on, so anything, I have done 4 years motivate preparing, but tí gbàgbọ́ nítorí pé tí rogun yẹn kó dé. Tí gbàgbọ́. Tí gbàgbọ́. Let's listen to the full video of our presentation. Much wider. This is just one of their many small adverts. Each country within the European country now are preparing. Kódà àwọn èèyàn tí lọ ń ṣe underground bunker. I've seen many countries around the world, in European countries rather, what lọ ń ṣe underground bunker. Ṣorí náírà tó gbé dání yẹn will be as useless as tissue paper. Prepare for everything. No matter whether oni mo ní, go and prepare. Ogun máa dé, ogun ò ní dé, go and prepare. Do not take this broadcast of 28th of March 2025. Mo lè má ní time láti repeat this kind of broadcast again. There are some broadcasts that I'm doing right now. I might not have to repeat them again. It could be the last warning. I might not have enough time. I have that time is why we are emphasizing on it. So mo dúpẹ́ pé lánàá 27, the European countries are preparing 450 million of their citizens for war. War sugarcoated, wọn ogun bọ̀. But lọ́dọ̀ tiwa ẹ̀wọ̀n àwọn tó máa sọ fún yín pé Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó gun dé, even though it's right under our nose. Let us get everything that we are going to need. Gbogbo intabale prepare. Kò bá jẹ́ anything, whatever you think it is good for you. I am not here to be telling you, go and get this, go and get that. Olúkálùkù ló mọ bó ṣe máa lọ prepare delay tiẹ̀. I will reinforce my own family and prepare them. Both in Nigeria and the one here as well. Mo ti sọ fún ìyàwó mi pé ó rà pé máa lọ ra more rice tí mo rà ó rà pé kò ní likely pé kó má lọ wà enough. A máa ra more spaghetti, a máa ra tin food. We will stock up even before I will be traveling out, so that in case ó lè jẹ́ pé mo máa wà ní Africa lógún máa dé bíbá. I don't know. Ilé ìṣọ́rọ̀ Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó gun dé. The world is a very crazy place. We have many crazy people around the world. Tí wọ́n ní pé kọ́ dá wọ́n àwọn fẹ́ peace. Kò tó bá fẹ́ peace ni wọ́n á ti yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà yìí, which is one of the biggest threats to mankind. So the worry we offer peace. Nobody wants peace, especially in the world that we are living today. This is a time that we prepare as we are being warned. Mo boss imbe problem here is not my problem. This is what your government should be doing, but your government are too busy with some other frivolous nonsense that they are doing. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó ká mi mọ́, tó bá ti ká ẹ mọ́, ó ká ẹ mọ́ náà nìyẹn. Everybody will go and prepare. Now, let's go and listen to how she made that full presentation. This video, Tafe Boy, again was posted 1 day ago. Àná ló posted tó fi di pé gbogbo news àgbáyé gbé, which is what all you're looking right here. The Guardian. Let's look at some of the headlines. And as usual, each time I come on the Guardian, wọ́n máa ní kí n fún àwọn olówó, wọ́n ní kí n má bínú pé ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn fi sú èmi. Pé gbogbo ìgbà làwọn máa ń gbé síwájú mi, just like bẹ́ẹ̀ mi náà ṣe ní ẹ dáwó fún iléeṣẹ́ yìí, ẹ support wa, ẹ ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Torí ẹlòmíà ní akílódé. It's just the fact that without money, there's little that we can do, no matter how small. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, wọ́n ní even Ogun sef, big business ni, wọ́n máa ta bọn, wọ́n máa ta bullet, oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló máa ta. Èyí dẹ̀ rí bí pépà ìṣe sọ pé kí n fáwọn lówó, gbogbo iná lẹ rí níbẹ̀. So ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ má gbàgbé wa, gbogbo ìgbàkígbà tí ẹ bá ń ká owó káàkiri, ẹ bá wa náà ha dé bíbá ẹ, Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ bá dúró ti gbogbo yín o. And we love those of you that continue, no matter how small, every little help. If I see 1,000 people give me £1, ó sì better do pé kí n máa wáyàn kan tó bá fún mi £1,000 láti rí. Mo kí gbogbo yín àlè máa dárúkọ yín. Torí sometimes, you don't know how important those little resources are being very useful. Kò bá jẹ́ ní náírà lẹ́ ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí ni, kò bá jẹ́ ní pounds ni. Money, this particular channel will not go into any advert from anybody until Tamafigba country wa. And I know 2025, everything is possible. Mokiba Bakito Elen Konsi. Let's quickly read some of the headline. Headline Nicola Kofemaka. How are you? Stockpile, 72 hours of supplies in case of disaster or attack. European Union tells the citizen. Block first preparedness strategy. Urge people to prepare for flood, fire, pandemic, or military strike. Let's look at another headline. International Business Times UK. Kila wọn sọ. EU tells family to prepare survivor kits with 3 days worth of food and water amid global tension. Tension wà ní gbogbo àgbáyé. This is not the time to say, kò ní sí tension in Nigeria. Kò ń ṣe Yorùbá ló ń create tension in Nigeria. The tension is there and it's not going anywhere. It's a tension that has been building up ever since Toko gbogbo àpapọ̀, knowing fully well that we are not one and we can never be one. Kì í ṣọmọ ìyá. Mọ́ra wa rí. We are all different people pushed together. Wọ́n ní already 28 lénìí. Èní dẹ̀ ní the last Friday. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ká tún wo 2 more. France 24. Àwọn eléyìí ò ní sọ̀rọ̀ kan ní pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Disaster planning. Brussels calls for European Union. Also to prepare. Have you seen that news already? Did you see the news? That everybody should go and prepare survivor kit for 72 hours. Yeah. Because there's an imminent of crisis coming. The European Union is preparing for new security challenges, with Brussels advising households on Wednesday to stockpile 3 days worth of emergency supplies, including food, medicine, and other essentials as part of a strategy to help the bloc plan for natural disaster, cyber attack, pandemic, and armed conflict. Armed, ogun ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. Armed, tó bá ń gbọ́ armed conflict, ogun ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. So gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ń bẹ ní European countries, including the UK, I hope you're taking the warning as well. Now, how many people ni wọ́n wọ́n gan sef? Ṣé èèyàn méjì ni, ṣé èèyàn mẹ́ta ni? Àwọn wọ́n ní 60 million Yoruba people in the last 4 years pé Fúlàní máa pa wá tán tá a bá react. But many Yoruba people say, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Whereas they are wọ́n pa wá ní méjì mẹ́ta. But we continue to live in denial because like òtítọ́, ọmọ Yorùbá ní kò like òtítọ́, wọ́n like àwọn tó máa parọ́ fún wọn, àwọn tó máa sọ pé lórúkọ Jésù kò ní ṣẹlẹ̀. Not me, because Jésù ò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀. So kí làwọn eléyìí náà sọ? Fortune, the European Union just issued a severe warning to its 450 million citizens. Do you know what it means? Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ìròyìn tẹ́lẹ̀ yóò kí n parọ́. Tó bá ṣe rí lọ́ ṣe máa sọ fún yín. Wọ́n sọ fún, do you know what 450 million citizens are? To stockpile supplies and prepare for disaster. Ìwọ ní Ọlọ́run lórúkọ Jésù kò ní dé Nàìjíríà. Okay. Ó bẹ́tà ká get ready o. Ó bẹ́tà ká má fi ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣeré o. Ó bẹ́tà ká múra sílẹ̀ o. This might not be repeated on this channel again. There are many other things that we want to talk about. So I pray and I hope many of you will take my warning as I say. Now, let's go and listen to the woman. It's 8 minutes, 54 seconds. I'm going to allow it without any interruption. Hallelujah. On video, couldn't any problem. Kid off is a headline. Europe must be ready for war. War, sugar-coated. War, Fioni Lelori. War, Sobo Shejekori. But lọ́dọ̀ tiwa nìkan la mama wá. News kan tó tún ṣe ń jáde ní Ìbàdàn. According to eyewitness, 2 people lost their lives at the scene while 1 victim was rushed to the nearest hospital by the FRSC personnel. The bodies of the deceased have been transported to Adeoyo Hospital. Àwo lọ nìyẹn. Ilé ìtúnṣe Russian àwọn news ṣe jáde ní Ìbàdàn bí ṣe bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí breaking news ni kò tí sẹ́ni kankan tó máa gbé NT ò ráyè láti gbé ọ busy Koiki Media ti gbé ní ìlú Ìbàdàn lélẹ̀ túnṣe ṣẹlẹ̀ o. According to eyewitness, tó bá dẹ̀ rò pé rọ́ọ̀nì mò ń pa gbèlè sáré fi wọ̀n ẹ́ lọ sórí website wa koikimediainternationalnews.com. o lè send email at any time at info@koikimedia.com. kò sí news tó ń lọ a máa blog ẹ̀. King Charles kan bá ṣe bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí ìyẹn ọba ló UK ó ti cancel gbogbo engagement ẹ̀ due to cancer treatment and side effect. Ṣe rí pé mo sọ fún yín pé 2025 yìí ọdún tó máa dùn dáadáa ni. Ó yẹ yín ṣó ń rí ṣó ń gbọ́ lọ wo because ẹ̀ ń wá ibi tó ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ okó àtòbò nìkan ẹ má bínú ẹ̀ tẹ́ wà ní àwẹ̀. Ọba luwa tó ń pè ní King Charles ó ti cancel gbogbo engagement kò dàbí àwọn ọba tiwa. Àwọn ọba lọ jẹun, ọba MC, ọba lọ church, lọ mọ́ṣáláṣí, ọba káàkiri, ọba fagbó nínú pálásì. Àmọ́ bí tó ti yan gbogbo àwọn ọba yìí kọ́lọ́n kó ṣàánú wa àwọn ọba Tinubu. His condition was detected during a routine medical procedure and he has since adjusted his schedule to accommodate treatment while maintaining his responsibility as head of state. Òun ni head of state. Ojú ẹ̀lẹ́ ń wò yẹn King Charles ó ti cancel gbogbo engagement tó ní pátá. Ẹni bá lálàáfíà ló máa lọ káàkiri. Ìyẹn lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ìyẹn kọ́ la fi sọ fún yín. Èyí tá a fẹ́ sọ fún yín ni ti ìlú Ìbàdàn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ láì nísinsìnyí ó ṣẹlẹ̀. Breaking fatal accident ní the castle near Total Garden níbi UCH Ìbàdàn. Wàhálà ti ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀. Ìyẹn kan béèrè pé how can we tackle all this because Islam and Fulani have been taking over every part of the state. Ẹ má lọ prepare. Ṣọmọ kékeré lẹ́yìn. Gbogbo nǹkan lè fẹ́ kí n máa ṣe ibi ìbá jẹ́gẹ́ bí talk show. Ibi ìbá ẹni fact mo ti sọ tó ń bọ̀ fún yín ẹ̀yin nìkan lọ múra sílẹ̀ ní tó bá lè ṣe ni kó lọ máa fi múra sílẹ̀. According to eyewitness report, 2 people lost their lives at the scene while 1 victim was rushed to the nearest hospital. The bodies of the deceased have been transported to Adeoyo Hospital. Àwo lọ nìyẹn nílùú Ìbàdàn. Ìyẹn lọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Now, let's listen to the European Commission. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, the headline is war, mixed word. Wọ́n sọ pé ogun ń bọ̀, disaster ń bọ̀, powerful message fáwọn Europeans. Ṣáwọn ilé ìlú Yorùbá máa sọ fún ẹ pé ogun ń bọ̀ Nàìjíríà. what is ìparí tọ̀dọ̀ tí wọ́n èmi náà ni mo lè sọ fún ẹ òun dọ̀ ni mo ti ń sọ fún ẹ yìí ó wá kù sí ẹ lọ́wọ́ bó gbọ́ bó gbọ́ ẹja jọ gbọ́ fídíò yẹn mọ̀ ń bọ̀. Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan ṣe má gbàgbé gbogbo àkígbà tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ràn wá lọ́wọ́ ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí àwọn numbers wa tó wà lórí screen or kẹ́ lọ sórí website wa tó jẹ́ koikimedia.com ìyẹn tún yàtọ̀ sí koikimediainternationalnews.com. The fanfare ẹ̀yìn tí ẹ̀ tí mọ̀ just before we move further, we now have a backup Facebook page but ó ń go through identification lọ́wọ́. So I will have shown you because Katobe program, I wanted to bring it to the screen, but we need to go through some kind of identification. So Tibati clear identification here, Mama Sofuni, I need backup YouTube channel. It's all right because Teba follow gbogbo channels wa basheni ke follow e gbogbo pata le ma mọ̀ pé a wà lórí ètò kọ bàbá wa kan pè mí láti ilé pé Koiki àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ wò láti joy mo ní well mo sorry àwa wà live àdákẹ́ so ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ arábìnrin tó ń pè ní Labib.
$150 million citizens. It's 450 million reasons to be better prepared. Today's threats facing Europe are more complex than ever, and they are all interconnected. For 3 years in Ukraine, we have seen a battlefield of bombs and bullets, drones, fighter planes, trenches, and submarines. Yes, our European security is directly threatened by this. It is also threatened by other battlefields. The battlefields in our pockets, our phones, our computers, our power plants, our banks, our supply chains, our raw materials, and in the media, the social media we consume every day. These are all battlefields, and they are being weaponized to threaten our European way of life and our democracies. And the EU has two ways of responding. We can stick our head in the sand and act like it isn't happening. Or we can look these threats scarily in the eye and say, this is the reality we are facing and we will prepare. You know, since the start of my mandate as Commissioner for Preparedness, I have visited countries here in Europe and halfway across the world. Ukraine, Poland, Italy, France, and even Bangladesh. And earlier this week, I visited the port of Antwerp, a critical area in the center of Europe for mobility, but also military mobility and goods, of course. I've seen firsthand how different countries and locations prepare for emergencies depending on geopolitics or their geographical also position. Being prepared is certainly different from one country to another. There is no one-size-fits-all. I've exchanged ideas, best practices with local authorities and experts on the ground, and these exchanges have contributed to making this strategy concrete, targeted, and operational. In the EU, we must think different because the threats are different. We must think bigger because the threats are bigger also. And this strategy does precisely that, setting out 3-0, it means 30 concrete actions. We are getting everyone on board in every sector, from governments, localities, institutions, businesses to communities, citizens, and volunteers. We already have strong crisis response tool, but we can no longer rely on ad hoc reactions. We must be on the front foot, more proactive, more coordinated, more systematic, detecting threats earlier and acting faster as well. That's why we are setting up a new EU Crisis Coordination Hub to coordinate better when a crisis hits. And this hub will build on the expertise of our Emergency Response Coordination Center, the ERCC, to better support member states in managing today's crisis. And we are also beefing up our Union Civil Protection Mechanism, the UCPM, protective shield in times of emergency. It coordinates aid, mobilizes emergency teams, and delivers life-saving assistance when floods, but also wildfires and other disasters strike. We have done it in Spain, in Ireland, in Mozambique, in Mayotte, and just recently, last week, in North Macedonia, with more than 50 burn victims of a nightclub fire being taken care of in EU hospitals.
Now, let's come back to the reality. The reality. What happened to our preparedness when this happened? What went wrong? We were preparing. Konshawa. Babawa Kábíyèsí Ọjájá II, Orí Adé, he spoke after inviting many people to a very magnificent event. But kilo ṣẹlẹ̀ after that. It seems that after that summit, not much happened. Àwọn bí Kábíyèsí pé we believed and we trusted that he was preparing us for the danger tó ń bọ̀. But it seems that all that was just a joke. That's the way I say it now. It was nothing more than a joke. So that mistake, Kábíyèsí was probably not really honest with us. Mo ń bọ̀ o, mo fẹ́ mú jáde fún wa dáadáa, but mo fẹ́ we are very careful of the platform that we're going to use it from. Just don't want to play anything from any platform that can bounce back on my channel. I can use this one because at least most of many told me I don't know man lo program mi dáadáa. Mo fẹ́ ká lọ wo fídíò yìí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. What went wrong? Mo ń bọ̀ fídíò ẹ̀ máa wá sí screen nísìn. Kí ló change the mind di Kábíyèsí? Because we believe that he was preparing us for this summit. I think this is even mine. I couldn't go ní lọ́wọ́ ńgbà yẹn. Àbákọ̀ fi ṣáàtìkù ní ká àkọ́ fi ṣáàtìkù ní. Nothing came out of that article. I mean, of that event. Remember, it might be nothing. I just want to get something prepared for us before we kickstart and show you things. Tabaranti, you can see this to start with. Outcome of the Yoruba Security Summit. Kini outcome? Kílódé tí Ọọ̀ni ò go ahead láti prepare ilẹ̀ Yorùbá for the danger ahead ní 2024. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ṣé wọ́n pe Kábíyèsí padà ni? Ṣé wọ́n instruct Kábíyèsí pé kó má lọ in that direction? And that has left a lot of our people to die. Because ìgbésẹ̀ tí kábíyèsí ò finish yẹn has allowed millions of Yoruba people to lose their lives. And it's just a shame that we have to say it as it is. What you should communicate after the day Yoruba Security Summit hosted. Let me read it out. But it seems that nothing was acted on it after that summit. A ti sọ tàwọn Europeans, ta ló máa prepare àwa fún ogun tó ń bọ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá? Ṣé kábíyèsí ni àbí Professor Akintoye? Who amongst them will prepare us? Because there is now an imminent of danger in Yoruba land. Let's read quickly. This was what Koiki Media posted as we blogged it last year. 2nd of March 2024. Outcome of the Yoruba Security Summit amid insecurity in Yoruba land. And that insecurity is still there. Torí ẹ̀ ló ṣe fi pa Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ just because of this insecurity. Torí ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ṣe lé kúrò nílùú is because he stood out and say no, òun ò ní gbà. Ìgbòho was chased out of his father's land. Ó wá dẹni tó ń gbé lẹ́yìn odi. Ìgbòho wá dẹni tí kò lè wọlé mọ́ látara pé ó béèrè fún àwọn kankan tó jọ mọ́ security ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. And it's a shame that today that Ooni of Ife could not protect us. This summit would have given us the leverage against àwọn tó wá pa wá. Lẹ́yìn summit yìí, you can count numbers and numbers of attacks in Yoruba land, including state tí Ọọ̀ni ti ń govern, whether directly or indirectly as the Ooni of Ife. Because a gbọ́ pé Ọ̀ṣun state, as at the time, last year, àwọn terrorists wọ́n ṣe kí ni wọ́n wọlé sí wọ́n ní camp nínú Ọ̀ṣun state. There was Boko Haram network in Ọ̀ṣun state ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. If Ooni has done exactly what he's meant to do, we would not have found ourselves in this mess. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gan? Ta la ṣẹ̀? Ta la máa wá ké sí? Look at all the headlines last year. Ẹ wo gbogbo àwọn headlines yẹn. The Europeans are preparing for 450 million. Ooni ò lè prepare 60 million Yoruba people. Gbógun bọ̀. Kábíyèsí. Let's look at this particular one. Governor Adeleke commend the SSS for arresting suspected Boko Haram and ISWAP members ní inú Ọ̀yọ́ State. Sorry, we're not bringing anybody in. Those are sending requests. It's not the right time yet. Kábíyèsí ò lè defend wa against the Fulani attack, whereas the Europeans are preparing their citizens across the board. Talashe, kilo offensive wa. Is this how it will continue? We have the best hunters. We have the best different security that just needs to be empowered and given the instructions. And the citizens can also be given instruction, but it seems all that Ooni of Ife could not complete it. This is not good for Kabiyesi. Mr. Adeleke enjoined residents to continue to be watchful and report any suspicious activities in their neighborhoods to relevant security agency. But Ooni pè fún ìpàdé, and yet nothing came out of it. Nothing came out of that ìpàdé. It was as useless as tissue paper. Kò mú any impact wá fún ọmọ Yorùbá kọ̀ọ̀kan ju pé many Yoruba people have died after that summit. We have lost many lives after that summit, and that is crazy. And the question is, why should that be? Nígbà tá ní Kábíyèsí that meant to have protect us and defend us, but Kábíyèsí left it. And today, we have suffered the consequence of such. And when we play back and ask the question, everybody was excited as if a show is about to start. Well, I'm very sorry that no show started because Ooni did not complete the job. Literally, Ooni left it maybe for next person to come and deal with it. And that is a big disaster. So, how do we reckon with this kind of situation? I pray that many Yoruba people life will not be lost. Furthermore, let's just listen to just a little bit snip view of that event of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the service chiefs that are here with us. From the Nigerian police force, we have the area commander. Please let's put your hands together for the area commander. Please put your hands together. You're welcome. Also from the Nigerian military, we have the commandant, the second advisor division, and please put your hands together. Also, we have the head of the correctional center. You should say, please put your hands together. Representing my bàbá ibà yẹn ní ẹlẹ́bùn kan gbogbo ìgbà ló máa ń tẹ wọ́n lọ sí wọn láti bá ọ̀rẹ́ ìgbé ìkọ̀bá òní afẹ́ ní ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjìlé ó ṣe pàtàkì fún wa púpọ̀ wípé àwọn tí àjọba lé lórí a ò gbọdọ̀ máa rí wọn kó máa pa wọ́n bí adìẹ kó máa pa wọ́n ní ìbá àgà ọlọ́run ló máa rí kó ṣàánú wa lọ́wọ́ ajínigbé.
ṣé kábíyèsí wà really honest pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ yìí nínú summit yìí ní 2024 ní March àbí wọ́n kàn sọ to play the gallery because ó ti pé ọdún kan kábíyèsí tí ẹ ṣe summit tẹ́ ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí yet many life has been lost ẹ̀mí ti sùn lọ ẹ̀mí dẹ̀ ṣe ń sùn lọ bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí many Yoruba people have been killed ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n lè gbé níbẹ̀ mọ́ láwọn communities wọn so nígbà tẹ́ pè pàdé security summit yìí àwa rò pé òun ló máa dákun wàhálà in tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá but it seems that kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ o ṣàtúmọ̀ tún pè pàdé mi ni àbí that has been the final ọdún kan ti lọ báyìí kábíyèsí Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ Ọ̀jájá the second mo kí gbogbo àwọn tọ́jọ́ ń ṣe ní palace yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ti di pé à ń béèrè gẹ́gẹ́ bí journalist pé communicate ẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn lóòótọ́ jáde but kí ni àbọ̀ communicate yẹn what has been the impact ààrí impact kankan nínú Ọ̀ṣun state kò sí impact December last year ni Adeleke governor sọ fún wa pé àwọn Boko Haram àti ISPOP àwọn wọ́n ti jọba sínú Ọ̀ṣun state a rí wọn ní Àkúrẹ́ tọ́pọ̀ àwọn èèyàn rẹpẹtẹ Ogun state Ọ̀yọ́ state Kwara Kogi àwọn èèyàn tẹ̀ ń pa wọ́n ṣeré ni wọ́n ń jí àwọn èèyàn gbé lójoojúmọ́ kábíyèsí kí wá ní the next line of action nísìn nítorí pé bá a ṣe ń bá program yìí lọ lórí ìkànnì Koiki Media lẹ́nìí èní ní 3rd of March 2025 aago kan àbọ̀fẹ́ lọ lù last Friday of the month for the Ramadan the last Friday lélẹ̀ kí wọ́n lè bá mọ̀ pé program tó ṣe recent làwa ń ṣe yìí torí à ń record ẹ̀ náà fáwọn tó máa bá wa bíá ó lè dọ́dọ̀ ó ṣeé ṣe kí ọ́díò yẹn dọ́dọ̀ kábíyèsí àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ sọ nínú àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ń bá bọ̀ yìí pé wọ́n lè máa pa àwọn aráàlú níbi tẹ́yìn ọba jẹ ọba lé lórí àmọ́ ó sì ń ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí kí wá ní solution tó kù báyìí àbí bá ṣe máa wò náà nìyẹn ní àwọn European Union kábíyèsí wọ́n prepare àwọn ọmọ wọn up to the tune of 450 million ní gbogbo ibi tí wọ́n ń pè ní EU countries pé kọ́ lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fún ogun a ti gbọ́ tárábìnrin yẹn sọ a tún lè tún gbọ́ fáǹfààní àwọn tí wọ́n ò gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ tó ṣe ṣe bí ọ́díò kékeré ta tó rọra ń create lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yàtọ̀ sí ìta ń create because ó di ọ́díò méjì tá ń record báyìí torí mo fẹ́ kí yẹn gùn bóyá eléyìí wàá bá mi send ẹ̀ sí press secretary kábíyèsí á lè bá mi gbọ́ èmi ọmọ yín náà ní Ọláyọmí Kóìkì láti London ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ bí wọ́n ṣe sọ pé Europe must be ready for war and disaster Ajah Labib a powerful warning to the Europeans ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ kábíyèsí sá.
50 million citizens. It's 450 million reasons to be better prepared. Today's threats facing Europe are more complex than ever, and they are all interconnected. For 3 years in Ukraine, we have seen a battlefield of bombs and bullets, drones, fighter planes, trenches, and submarines. Yes, our European security is directly threatened by this. It is also threatened by other battlefields. The battlefields in our pockets, our phones, our computers, our power plants or banks or supply chains or raw materials and intermediate.
Gbogbo threat yìí náà ló ń affect ilẹ̀ Yorùbá náà torí àgbẹ̀ tó bá lè lọ sóko àgbẹ̀ tó lè lọ sóko báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ pọ̀ ó wọlé tó máa wọnú bank. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ Ọ̀jájá the second pé lóòótọ́ ẹ ṣe ìpàdé ní last year March. The communique came out and this is exactly what you said in the communique. Being a communique issued after a day Yoruba Security Summit hosted by Arole Oduduwa, Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀, Ọọ̀ni Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, CFR Ọ̀jájá II, at the Ife Grand Resort Ile-Ife on Thursday, the 29th of February 2024. Preamble. Due to the recent upsurge in the killings, maiming, and kidnappings in the southwest Nigeria, the House of Oduduwa today, Thursday, 29 February 2024, held its Yoruba Security Summit at the Ọ̀jájá Arena Ife Grand Resort Ile-Ife. Two major themes were addressed: kidnapping and banditry delivered by Dr. Solomon E. Arase, ex-Inspector General of Police. Number two, Yoruba Legacy of African Science, overcoming the twin menace, delivered by Dr. Chief Ifayemi Elebubon. The summit, which enjoyed the support of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, under the chairmanship of retired General Alani Akinrinade, CFR, the Ogun. Gbogbo eléyìí nísìn resolution that the Yoruba people should take full control of their forest and homeland and their farmland. Number two, that Amotekun Corps should be strengthened in terms of giving recognition and to be transformed to the status of a state police. Motivation, finance, training, retraining of personnel, and that those who are familiar with the nooks and crannies of our forest should be recruited into the Amotekun. Provision of training ground for its personnel, provisions of adequate budgetary allocations to the Amotekun Corps. The summit agreed that a Department of Forest Amotekun Corps be created. Number three, that the Yoruba, especially the traditional rulers, should make recourse to their natural resources, including natural powers, to combat banditry, kidnapping, that Yoruba Obas should not jettison the traditional values. Number four, that the government at all levels should recognize the role of traditional rulers and factor them into national security architect. Number five, that the entire Obas in Yoruba land should work in unison to ward off the evils of banditry and kidnapping, as each of the states could only succeed in chasing the marauders to another state. Number six, traditional rulers are advised to uphold and value the customs and tradition of the land. Number seven, that each time an attack took place, the offenders were quickly left off the hook by the powers that be, and the judicial process should be strengthened to meter out appropriate punishment to cooperate or bring them to justice. Number eight, that the governors of the southwest Nigeria should organize regional security summit at the earliest practicable time, including all stakeholders, to charter the way forward and giving teeth to all the concerns raised at this current summit. Number nine, the Security Summit called for a strong support for the administration of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the larger interest of Yoruba race. Number 10, the Security Summit called on Yoruba traditional rulers to return to the pristine Yoruba traditional, spiritual, and cultural values. At all times, the traditional rulers should recognize that in spite of whatever nature of religion they practice, they must recognize that the stool they preside over is traditional. Number 11, the summit called on Yoruba traditional rulers to take full possession of their forest, homeland, and farmland. Number 12, the summit called on the local, state, and the federal government to employ use of drones and appropriate technology for the effective surveillance of Yoruba forests and roads. Number 13, the summit agreed that the Yoruba Security Summit should be held quarterly basis as to capture, intervening, and supervising variables in our polite. The last but not the least, number 14, we take forgiveness of the difficulties and challenges Nigeria is going through. We dare that our son Bola Tinubu, whom it has pleased God to make the president of Nigeria, is doing his level best to grapple with and overcome the challenges. We appeal to our colleagues from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria to cooperate support him to make a successful of his government. Kábíyèsí, níbo ló wá kù sí báyìí? Níbo ló kù sí? Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Inini, 28th of March 2025 at exactly 13:31 from my studio in London. My name is Olami Koiki. Let's come to the final part as we discuss the way forward of the Yoruba nation. We'll come back in a minute.
À ń fi àsìkò yìí ṣe ìkéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá nation àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjìrè bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ Emeritus Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. Ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀, a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. Olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
Lórí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá ń jẹ Yorùbá àti ìjòyè wọn láwọn ọ̀gbọ́n ọmọ kíkà ni máa jí wa gbé wọn máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú.
Jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ ń ta ká ṣe ṣe kí ni o kàtúyàyà let's come out and showcase ourselves.
Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa káàkiri ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa láti bí wákàtí méjì ní àti iléeṣẹ́ wa àti ìkànnì wa tí a ń pè ní Koiki Media. Mo kí yín o lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin aláwẹ̀ pé ṣé dáadáa ni Ramadan ti ń tán báyìí, ojú ti àwa àjọsán, àwa tá à ń mu kọfí láàárọ̀ tí kò bá àwẹ̀ jẹ́. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn Christians, mo kí gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe, mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí gbogbo àwọn professor káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pátápátá níbi tí ìrìn àjò Yorùbá nation ń lọ. Níbo ló kù sí àti pé kí ló kù tá a fẹ́ ṣe? Òun náà ni pé kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ń kọ́ nílé lóko kí ó máa sọ fún ara wọn pé àfi tá a bá dá dúró, òun náà nìkan ni ọ̀nà àbáyọ tó kù gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọ̀nà àbáyọ tí a ti ń sọ fúnra wa. Eléyìí ni láti fi dúpẹ́ fún bàbá wa Professor Akíntóyè lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé a kú iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun tó ń ṣe fún ìran Yorùbá. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn, àmọ́ lóore lágbára Ọlọ́run ilẹ̀ Yorùbá aṣojú ẹ̀mí wọn. Ẹ bá mi ṣàmì ẹ̀ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ fún bàbá wa. Mo wá kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí a ti jọ ń bẹ lórí ìkànnì náà fún gbogbo bẹ́ ṣe ń bá wa dá sí láti bí wákàtí méjì nígbà tí ètò náà ń tẹ̀síwájú. Ètò yẹn kù bí wákàtí díẹ̀ kan náà la máa fi fẹ́ mú wá sílẹ̀, àmọ́ àsìkò yìí bàbá rẹ̀ tó bá fẹ́ pè nọ́mbà tẹ́ máa pè náà ló ń bẹ lójú òpó yín níbẹ̀ yẹn +44 74 04405917 òun ló máa gbé wá sínú stúdíò wa kí ẹ wá bá wa sọ̀rọ̀. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí YSDM tí a mọ̀ sí Yorùbá Self Determination Movement, àwọn náà ni wọ́n ń darí Yorùbá nation ní Ọlọ́run adẹ́jẹ́kọ́ darí ẹ̀ dáadáa. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn oríṣiríṣi many different groups tí ó ń operate under the YSDM. Mo kí àwọn tó wà stand alone. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí gbogbo àwọn medias tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ takuntakun pé kí ìran Yorùbá lè dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Ẹ jáwọ́ ká òbí ara wọ́n fi bá wa dá sí. Ṣé fi bá wa dá sórí ètò ni? Hello caller.
Ẹ káàkiri tí wọ́n wà lórí ètò.
Ẹ ti wà lórí ẹ̀, ẹ bá a ṣe ní kíákíá ká gbọ́n tẹ́ fi bá wa sọ kó tó di pé a máa tẹ̀síwájú.
Ok, ẹ ṣé o bàbá Koiki Meja láti Abidjan látàárọ̀ ni mo ti ń show program. Bàbá Koiki ọlọ́run fún agbára tẹ́tù máa ní agbára máa fún wa máa sọ bí látàárọ̀ ni mo jókòó wájú tẹ́lì mi tí mo sọ gbogbo program mi. Àtún ẹ ti dẹ́yìn o, ẹ ti dágbára yín lédè, ẹ ti ṣe fọ́ọ̀mù ọmọ Yorùbá kò ní sí ọmọ Yorùbá kankan tí ó sọ fún òun kó tuntun nípa àwọn tí kò gbé sọ àbí àwọn tí ó déwájú kò sí ọmọ kankan àfi ẹni tí ó bá yọ ọmọ àlè lọ ló gbọ́. Àwọn ti sọ pé kò jẹ́ bí àwọn French ṣe sọ bí pé il y a pas plus sourd que celui qui refuse d'entendre. Pé kò sí ẹni tí etí rẹ̀ di ju ẹni tí ọ̀fun kò kọ̀ọ̀kan tó ń tó tán lẹ́tí ọ̀fun. Gbogbo àwọn rí ẹsẹ̀ lọ lónìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sọ yìí, àwọn èèyàn ń gbàgbé nǹkan kan wọn pé ogun tí ń bọ̀ yìí gbogbo àgbáyé ni wọ́n gbàgbé mẹ́rin ilẹ̀ ibi tí mo wà yìí gan-an àwọn kan ti ń prepare ọ̀yọ̀ kan nínú election tí ń bọ̀ yẹn. Ilẹ̀ yìí gan-an ibi abíkẹ́ta àwọn kan tún prepare ọ̀yọ̀ kan ibi tí àwọn míì ń sọ pé náà ń gbà fún election tí ń bọ̀ yẹn pé ìjọba ọkùnrin tó kúrò lórí oyè tó bá ṣe ìyà tí ń jẹ mẹ̀kúnnù pọ̀ jù pé téèyàn ò bá lówó èèyàn ò lè lọ sí títà òótọ́ sì ni àwọn táwọn live bí i nǹkan tí ò ìbọn ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn. Rí ń jò ní nínú iṣẹ́ tí mò ń ṣe báyìí iṣẹ́ tèmi ṣe iṣẹ́ káràkátà ni. Mọ̀ nínú iṣẹ́ táwọn ń ṣe lábíjà Yorùbá púpọ̀ wá mẹ́mẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo wá rí àwọn ọmọ mi Yorùbá kan tá a máa ríra tá a máa fi òkú padà. Mo sì sọ pé mo ń bọ̀ mo wá wo mọ́ mi yìí títí wá bí mo ṣe bí mi tó mo ní gbẹ̀mẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin sọ pé ká má sọ báyìí sáwọn ogun tí ń bọ̀ ẹ̀ sáwa là ń sọ. Àwọn ogun tí ń bọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ sáwa là ń sọ pé ogun bọ̀ ní tó ogun fi ń wọ̀ ni. Nǹkan jẹ́ má sọ báyìí ẹ̀yin Yorùbá nìkan lẹ̀ mọ́ ní irú ọpọlọ báyìí. Mo mọ̀ rò gan bóyá ṣe tí wọ́n bá sọ fún Fúlàní gan pé ogun bọ́ ẹsẹ̀ Fúlàní gan pé báyìí Fúlàní máa ń rẹ́ tilẹ̀ ni mẹ Yorùbá nìkan tí bá sọ pé ogun kò yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́ ṣépè ogun bọ̀ mo bá wá bí nǹkan tí ó gbẹ́dà pọ̀ náà ṣé ń tà jẹ́jẹ́ pé ìlú rẹ̀ kí ìrọ̀ Yorùbá ti rí lónìí nù. Ó Yorùbá kó bá ara rẹ̀ ó gbogbo àdùnnà ta mẹ́tí Yorùbá máa kú dédé jẹ́ ikú ìkò ní lóúnjẹ jẹ́ kí ìjọba nípa gbogbo lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ kẹ́lẹ́kẹ́ kí n ṣe tí rí jẹ́ kí ìbò tó wà tó pọ̀ látọ̀lẹ́ ìlú àtẹ̀lé ẹ̀sìn tó fẹ́ kí Yorùbá máa kú dédé kí Yorùbá máa ké gbogbo gbà ẹ ṣàánú mi ẹ ràn mí lọ́wọ́ nǹkan tí Yorùbá mọ̀ nìyẹn nǹkan tí tó bá kú pé ogun bá ẹ múra o ìwé mọ̀ sí pé ẹ mọ̀ sọ ogun àṣẹ pé ibi tí mo bá kí mo fi jọ fún ṣe pé tọ́lọ́ba ti tá a bá gba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àfi ká ṣe àwọn Yorùbá tuntun àfi ká ṣe ìran Yorùbá tuntun ìran Yorùbá kí ni ìtumọ̀ rẹ̀ ká fi yé ìran Yorùbá pé ilé ayé tá à ń gbé yìí àwọn bàbá wa ti sọ pé ilé ayé gbogbo ẹ̀dá kan náà ló gbé ilé ayé àfi kí ìran Yorùbá pẹ̀lú ìran Yorùbá wá di ìran useless ìran ọ̀lẹ tí ọ̀fẹ́ mú òmìnira ara rẹ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ pé kí ẹlòmíì wá kú láyé òun nǹkan tó ń gbọ́dọ̀ so ọ̀fẹ́ pé kí ẹlòmíì ni ó wá ṣe òun wà jẹ ìgbádùn rẹ̀ bí ìran Yorùbá sì lé yìí bí ìran Yorùbá àwọn irú nǹkan báyẹn àwọn Ìgbò ti mọ̀ pé ogun bọ̀ àwọn ti ready for now àwọn Fúlàní àwọn Haúsá gbọ́ bóyá kọ́lọ́ jẹ́ kí wọ́n gbọ́ kọ́lọ́ jẹ́ kí wọ́n gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ kọ́lọ́ jẹ́ kí ìran Yorùbá gbọ́ báyìí jẹ́ Jésù bàbá ẹ̀kọ́ bẹ Allah alọ́kùnkùn wa Yorùbá gan-an ìwà kàtàkàtà ibi tí bàbá ń bá ọmọ rẹ̀ sùn àbí kí bàbá máa bá ọmọ rẹ̀ sùn àbí kí ká máa gba yàwó nǹkan tí ìran Yorùbá máa lò ká máa gba yàwó nǹkan tí Ọlọ́run ò fẹ́ mẹ́tọ́ wá jọgbọ́ ogun bọ̀ ẹ máa rí Yorùbá ní pé yàwó ogun o àfẹ́ ogun o ẹ̀sìn ní àwọn ìgbà tó kà lọ́wọ́ ẹ ní àwọn ìwà rubbish lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ká fún ogun ẹ̀rí bí àwọn ìjọba pé ìran Yorùbá dé lónìí tó kọ́rọ̀ jẹ́ ká gbé Yorùbá nation gba bí mo ṣe wà yìí mo jẹ́ ìwà gbọ́ lórí pé pé Yorùbá yóò wá nígbà wọn Yorùbá táwọn tẹ́lẹ̀ láti fún ọ nípa rẹ́dì ẹni tó bá mọ ìtumọ̀ yẹn yóò mọ̀ pé ìjà gidi lélẹ́yìí ẹgbẹ́ ìjà gidi lélẹ́yìí dọ́gbẹ́ wọn bá ṣe tá a bá gba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó bá fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ rẹ o ní right kó jagun tó bá lè jáde tó bá bá bí yẹn o ní right kó jagun ilẹ̀ rẹ kó ọmọ fi ilẹ̀ rẹ sígbà tí wọ́n gbà lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ àfi ká fi ìyẹn sí ọpọlọ Yorùbá bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá dé mọ́ wọn sùkúù ni Yorùbá kọ́ àbí ní àfi ká change mọ́ ìran Yorùbá kò sí kankan ní lọ́pọlọ orí Yorùbá tí kò bá dé ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀wọ̀n kan sí ìgbà lẹ́sìn lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ìdíkù orí àwọn ọmọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ní lọ́dún kò lè ṣeéṣe àwọn Ìgbò kan tí wọ́n jáde gbé àwọn ti di ọba Èkó tí wọ́n ti dá ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n àbí ọlẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ tí wọ́n lọ gbọ́ nǹkan tó ṣe wọ́n sábà pé wọ́n yọ àwọn Yorùbá mi nú ẹ̀wọ̀n àwọn ìdájọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ wájú rẹ̀ tí kò bá ti pé ìwà pálapàla tí Yorùbá ní ṣé ẹ̀rù pé àwọn eléwọ́ àṣẹ ní ilé ní wọ́n ti ń gan wọ́n àdá irú kan báyìí lẹ́yìn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣé ó bí ìyá Yorùbá kan bá pé yóò lọ sí Ìgbò yóò wá gbọ́ ọ̀gá ní òun lẹ́yìn irú kan pálapàla báyìí lọ́dọ̀ Yorùbá láàrin lọ́dọ̀ ìran Yorùbá láàrin tó bàbá Koiki àwọn ti rẹ́jì wà lẹ́yìn bá gbọ́ lónìí pé a ní ìdájọ́ Yorùbá o tí wọ́n gbé ìtẹ́ ó ti dé sọ́dọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè wọn láti tẹ́lẹ̀ wọn dáadáa ibi tí wà mo ibi tí wà yìí ibi tí wà yìí wọ́n á kan lásán dé sọ nígbà tí mi ní pé mo ní ìdádó àyè mo ń mú báàgì mo ń lọ lè yíná tààrà láti bí tí ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ tààrà tí wọ́n lè lórúkọ nílẹ̀ pàṣẹ ibi tá a lọ yìí ẹ̀yin ọ̀pẹ ni wọ́n fi mi sílẹ̀ yìí ìlú ní Abidjan náà ti gbàgbà nígbà tí wọ́n ni mo lè mọ first time Nàìjíríà alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tí mo lè mọ first time Nàìjíríà mẹsàn-án wájú ọmọ Abidjan ni Abidjan ọmọ Yorùbá ni ọ tó ń torí kí ni bàyí náà wò kàn ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Ọ̀ṣun ìlú ọmọ Ọ̀ṣun ní sí ọmọ Ọ̀ṣun sí ti dé.
wà orí ètò ìkànnì Koiki Media náà láṣẹ wà níbi tí a ti ń dára wa ní ẹ̀kọ́ nípa preparedness ẹni tó bá ní nǹkan tó fẹ́ àdìmọ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀ àṣírí níbi báyìí lè gbà wá nímọ̀ràn ẹ lọ ṣe nǹkan báyìí àfẹ́ gbọ́ yẹn níbí báyìí mọ́ olúkálukú ló yẹ kó mọ tó yẹ kó ti lè lọ máa ṣe ní sí mo kí ẹ safety domain mo kí Waris Jinadu mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin yan wa káàkiri ibi tẹ́ ti ń gbọ́ wa gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ bá ọ́díò mi pàdé tí mò ń rékọ́dì yìí ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ó wà important àwọn family tẹ́ máa ń sọ pé wọn ò ní data láti gbọ́ wa wọ́n lè gbọ́ ọ́díò yìí nísìnyí going to 1 hour 48 minutes kò ń ṣe in tó máa gba megabyte wọn tó pọ̀ ẹ sẹ́ndẹ̀ sínú mox group yín ẹ sẹ́ndẹ̀ sínú gbogbo groups church ni oníṣẹ́ṣe group ni gbogbo groups tolúkàlùkù ní kódà Amẹ́ríkà gan wọ́n ní signal inú ẹ̀ ní àṣírí kan ti tó dé láìpẹ́ ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Trump bẹ́ẹ̀ so ẹjọ́ ẹni tó bá wá fẹ́ ní nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ bá wa sọ ẹ pè wá sórí àwọn numbers wa àbíkẹ́sẹ̀ info@koikimedia.com mo kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i.
ti diabetes ó wà available èyí tẹ́ bá ti fẹ́ ẹ pè Lady K Ìfẹ́ Olúwa show èyí tẹ́ bá ti fẹ́ confirm word owó dìbò display látẹ̀kọ́ àwọn confirm word bá power lélẹ̀ tó jẹ́ wípé ẹ bá ṣe kiri ẹ bá lala skibo bọ́bọ̀ gé bá báyé lálejò bó bá ṣe truth or díẹ̀ wà láìta láàyè akókúrò lé ọkọ̀ akówá sílé yìí nígbà tí ẹ bá gbábú truth or díẹ̀ ó bá padà yí wọ́bọ lọ́wọ́ a máa wá ayé kiri ní ìṣòwò tẹ máa fi gbó jìgìjìgì tọ́lọ́ bá tún máa bá ayé ṣe kó jẹ́ pọ́kàn tí ẹ̀ ò méré ṣe tẹ́yìn dẹ̀ wá méré ṣe tẹ́tí gbàgbó bolura ó máa kó wá bá ayé ni bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn so gbọ́ èyí tẹ bá nídìí àwọn product yẹn ẹ pè mí bákan náà èyí tẹ bá fẹ́ ra aṣọ aṣọ wà lọ́lọ́kọ̀ òjọ̀kọ̀, aṣọ òkè wà, jewelries wà, gbogbo ẹ̀ wà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe fẹ́ wọ sí ni ẹ̀yẹ ṣáà ti pe Lady K Ìfẹ́ Olúwa Show, the baby of Yoruba nation. Ojú òní tì yìí mi ní wá ayé tì. Ẹ wá bá mi rajà, mo bẹ̀bẹ̀ ní. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ra spiritual items, ẹ pè mí. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ní one or two things tẹ́ face, tẹ́ dẹ̀ ní àwọn ọkọ̀ àdúrà tẹ́ lè lò bí nǹkan ìṣẹ́gun, curse breaker, mercy, àwọn ọkọ̀ àánú, àwọn protection something tẹ́ lè lò. Àwọn something tẹ́ lè lò fún victory. Ẹ pè Lady K Ìfẹ́ Olúwa Show. Ẹ mọ̀ pé rere ni Olúwa. Kristi ń bẹ láàyè. Orúkọ Jésù ilé ìṣọ́ agbára ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni fún ẹni tó bá ṣe kíni, tó bá nígbàgbọ́. Bó ṣe jẹ́ díẹ̀, so gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá dídà àwọn ọkọ̀ tẹ́ lè lò. Àìdá yìí kò ṣàkíyèsí wípé nǹkan ò lọ déédéé bó ṣe yẹ kó lọ déédéé fún yín. Àbẹ́ jẹ́ tó bá lálàkàlà, àbẹ́ rí sáìdì wípé wọ́n dọwọ́ sí yín, ẹni tẹ́ẹ̀ṣlẹ̀ ó lé yín, ẹni tẹ́ẹ̀ṣọ̀ ó ṣọ yín. Gbogbo àwọn ọkọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ẹ pè Lady K Ìfẹ́ Olúwa Show. Mo assure yín pé àwọn spiritual items tẹ́ bá lò tí gbogbo yẹn bá ṣẹ́, tí ẹ bá gbégbá ọpẹ́, tẹ́ bá ní ẹnu ọpẹ́, ó wà available ní Sẹpẹ́. Ìlú Canada ni mo wà ní Hamilton. Ẹ̀yẹ ṣáà ti pè mí. Bàbá yín sẹ́dẹ̀ any country tẹ́ bá wà, any state. Bàbá yín sẹ́dẹ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé African food náà lẹ bá fẹ́, rice ọ̀fadà wà, sẹ̀mó wà, èlùbọ́, gàrí, pando yam, ẹja, stockfish tí ò lè gungun, àti crayfish, gbogbo ẹ̀ wà, àti irú, locust beans, ìyẹn náà wà. So èyí tẹ́ bá ti fẹ́, ẹ̀yẹ ṣáà ti pè Lady K Ìfẹ́ Olúwa Show. Ẹ bá tún wá gbàgbé láti subscribe sí YouTube channel wa, kẹ́dẹ̀ tọ́ notification bell yìí. Ire o.